Hello, my name is Paul. I'm one of the biology teachers at Long Road Sixth Form College. I just want to spend a few minutes talking about biology A level, maybe why you'd want to do it and why you'd want to do it at Long Road.
Okay, first question really then is, why do biology at A level? So why do biology at A level? Could be you've got a particular career in mind, maybe something science related, I don't know, let's say something in the health field, and you need biology A level, perhaps nursing or something. But it might be you're thinking, well, actually, I want to go into, say, accountancy, and accountancy companies like people with science degrees. So if I do biology A level, then did some kind of science degree, I could go into accounting, which is exactly what a friend of mine did. He did zoology at Leeds University, then went straight into accountancy. That was his plan all along. He knew what he was doing. He knew that the accountancy firm didn't want his biology knowledge. They didn't want his zoology knowledge. They wanted the skills and abilities he developed as a scientist. Second thing says, maybe it's a subject you enjoy and you're good at it. So why not do it? Isn't that one of the best reasons to do biology A level? Third thing, provides a solid ground in analytical thinking, writing reports and clear communication. Very useful life skills. And the fourth one talks about facilitating subjects. So these are A-level subjects which are most often required for a wide range of university subjects and apprenticeships. This makes them a good choice to keep your degree options open. So if you're not sure what sort of degree you want to do at university, if that's the route you want to follow, then you might think, well, A-level biology is a good science subject. It's a facilitating subject. It opens lots of doors for me, keeps my options open. Why choose biology at Long Road? So there's four things I want to go through with you. First thing is the results we've been getting recently. The second thing is the syllabus we use. Edexcel A, also called SNAB, does say their content does vary, so please bear in mind that A-level biology syllabuses, about 2/3 of their content is identical. It's determined by the government. 1/3 is up for grabs and the government has to agree it. We've chosen the one which the 1/3 we felt was the most interesting and relevant to our students, and that is the Edexcel A syllabus. We're the only school in the city of Cambridge to do this, which we're delighted about because it is a bit more edgy, it's a bit more contemporary. When you talk to other schools about why they've done very often the OCR syllabus, their answer is, well, it's very well known, it's very traditional. Yeah, but ours is a bit more edgy and exciting. So we're convinced ours is the best syllabus to do, and we're delighted no one else is doing it. Third thing, opportunities outside the classroom, we'll have a talk about. And the fourth thing, what kind of support we can offer. The results we've got in biology recently really are good. Put us in the top 10% of sixth form colleges in the country, which isn't an incredible performance, and down to a number of things, including high quality teaching, high quality resources, and amazing support we provide for our students. In terms of things like resources, we do provide printed notes to students. We give them out at the start of each half term. You can read them before your lesson. You can refer to them during your lesson. You can reread them after your lesson. If you miss a lesson, you can see what you've missed. Students really like those. Past questions we make available for you in a nice, easy to use form. And the online exam board resources from our exam board really are exceptional. One of the reasons we chose Edexcel, that their online stuff is really, really good and continues to be. So that's a real strength of the course. And in terms of support, this is outside of a lesson. There are 2 extra lessons, if you like, during the week when you can drop in on a Tuesday afternoon and a Wednesday afternoon. There's no actual subject teaching going on at that time, and you can come along and see a teacher, or we'll run revision sessions during that time as well. Okay, let's spend a little bit of time thinking about the syllabus itself, Edexcel A or SNAB. Why do we like it? The words we've used to describe it: contemporary, exciting, and relevant content. Let's look at some examples of that. I don't know if you recognize what's going on here, but this is some red blood cells, and in amongst them are viruses. So in year 2, we do study viruses in terms of what's their general structure. We focus in on HIV in particular and look at its life cycle. Then you can look at something like COVID-19 and say, oh, okay, well, I know how HIV infects. I know how HIV copies itself. So it gives me some understanding of what COVID-19 is doing. So very relevant, very up to date. This slide's looking at clinical trials. We look at this in year 1 and year 2, and again with the COVID-19, people talked about the first clinical trial, phase 1, and then moving on to phase 2, and finally the phase 3, which hopefully then leads to some kind of vaccine. So we cover all that. This slide's talking about atherosclerosis, which is just a posh word meaning disease of blood vessels in the heart. And 1 in 3 people in Britain are killed by heart disease. So an understanding of how the heart works normally and how the heart doesn't work when it's diseased is really interesting and relevant. And what about this picture? Thermal imaging of the planet. The darker red colors are the hottest areas and the deeper blue the coldest areas. So yeah, we look at climate change in year 2 and we just say what impacts is it having on the planet, and there are some at the moment, and potentially what could happen by the year, say 2100, when you guys are nearly 100 years old. How will the planet be potentially with climate change going on? Something we look at can be a little bit scary at times, but I think it's better to understand what's going on so you can have an appreciation of why we need to bring about certain changes. Let's have a look at the structure of the course itself. So for biology, there is no coursework anymore, but we do have exams. So at the end of year 2, there are 3 exams, which are 2 hours long each. And remember, some of the content is different. About 1/3 of the content varies between exam boards. So what's on ours, which isn't on the others, which we particularly enjoy teaching and the students enjoy learning about, the heart disease one, atherosclerosis, the ethics of animal research. So what research is done into animals and what should and shouldn't be done is discussed. Drug testing protocols, like we said, relating to something like COVID-19 and what steps have to be gone through. The whole climate change, what's happening to the planet, what could happen to the planet, what can we do about it. One thing students really enjoy, the time of death of a mammal. So if a mammal, or you might say a human, is found dead, how can you work out how long that person's been dead for? Not so much what killed them, but how long have they been dead for? Something we do in year 2, how our brain perceives the world. So we'll look at the structure of the eye, we'll look at how the eye and the brain work together, and then how we perceive the world. So for example, of everything that you see, about 50% of it is made up by the brain. It doesn't actually happen. It's not coming in through your eyes. It's a construct of the brain. So students who do psychology really like that. And things like keyhole surgery as well, which is relevant to most of us. Let's have a look at some opportunities outside the classroom. So these aren't compulsory activities. These are trips or events which you can opt to do. A number of visits, for example, to the Babraham Research Institute, downtown in Cambridge to the Gurn Institute, the Addenbrooke site for the LMB, and also to AstraZeneca, who have just moved on to the Addenbrooke site as well. Here's 3 of our students. These are actually at the University of Cambridge in the Plant Sciences department. They'd just been using some fancy, very expensive enzymes to cut plant DNA, and then they're holding little photographs of their work. And their experiments worked really well. You can see the little blobs, and they're dead pleased with themselves, and you can tell that in the photograph. These students are visiting Babraham. These students went to the LMB to have a look around their labs and see what they get up to. This was an in-house thing we did, just offering some extra dissection. The only dissection we do in biology is of a heart, and that's not compulsory, but some students like dissection and want to do more dissection, and these were having a look at a rat. And these students are preparing for applying to do medicine at university, and the guy stood on the right is Ankit. He's a 5th year medical student at Cambridge University, and the guy stood towards the left is Tom, who's Ankit's friend, who's also a Cambridge University graduate, and they were running a program that came into Long Road to help our aspiring medical students with their personal statements for UCAS, but also with the entrance exams for medical schools, how you can prepare for those as well. And the students found those 2 days really, really exhausting, but incredibly beneficial. Here's one of our students. She actually won the poster competition. Her name's Shilan. There's her poster, and you can see she's dead pleased with herself, and we were delighted for her because there were loads of students there from all different schools and colleges and sixth form colleges, and hers was judged to be the best, and we were absolutely delighted for her. This is talking about biology alumni, which is just a posh way of saying ex-students. The first one is a lad called Jack, who left us in 2019 last summer. This is a photograph he sent us of the lab he's working in, and his title is an apprentice DNA scientist, and the company is called Source Bioscience. So he didn't want to go to university, it wasn't really for him, and found this apprenticeship in Cambridge. And he started there in July 2019, and by the end of August he was running this whole lab himself, and you can see there's no one else in it. So there are other people in the building, other people doing stuff, but he was running this place himself. So it's a 4 or 5 year program with this company, but he's doing a degree at the same time. So he'll end up with a bachelor in science in whatever his subject is. And he's very happy, and university wasn't for him at all, and he's very happy in the world of work. Next one, this is Jordan, who's in the same year as Jack, and this is actually Jordan here. And a lady with the yellowish top on is the principal, Yolanda, and next to her is Karen from the library. And they were grilling him as preparation for medical school. So Jordan had done his A-levels, took a gap year, and then got ready for medical school, and we put him through some practice interviews, and he's doing one of these practice interviews, and he's got in. So he's got into Kent Medway Medical School in Canterbury in Kent, and he'll be starting there in September. Going back a few years, one of our students, Holly, she was with us 2012, 2014, always wanted to do vet medicine and went off to Nottingham to do that, to follow her dream. And she came in to see me last summer. She's now qualified. She's working in Suffolk as a vet, and vets nowadays are given the title doctor. They didn't used to, but they are now. So she's Dr. Holly. So she's a great success story, followed her dream, and is now living the dream. The last one is a student called James, who was with us quite a long time ago. Look, 2008 to 2010. He went off to university to do marine biology as a degree. He then did a master's in marine biology in Ireland, and he's now currently in Sweden doing his PhD in marine biology, all to do with fish farming. The photograph is fish farming in Norway, and it seems Sweden wanted to get their fish farming going, and they employed him to look into which is the best kind of fish to farm in Sweden, how can we be like Norway, and make a very successful project out of it. So James is still out in Sweden doing that work. To finish off with, this is the biology team at Long Road. So going clockwise around the screen, there's me at the top. To the right, there's Shyster, one of our teachers, then Denise, another teacher, then Teresa, the technician, and Mark is the last teacher. And we very much look forward to meeting you very soon. We'd love to talk to you about biology at Long Road.